Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Um, welcome to today's edition of Mental Health and Wellness. Uh, one of the apolitical show, no politics. Welcome to the show. We want to welcome all of you. Today is the final session on generativity versus stagnation. As you can see on your screen, welcome to the show, Mental Health and Wellness. Let's share the show really quick. Um, I want to tell you off the bat before we get into the conversation that this session or this um, part of the topic, it's quite interesting. Quite interesting. So you might want to stay tuned. You don't want to get distracted. You don't want to go in and out. You want to stay put because it's quite interesting. Like I said, very interesting. Stagnation. We will understand what stagnation is, what it means. We'll also talk about some of the things that get us to this stage of stagnation and why we stagnate. And as you see the word itself, and how some of this stagnation built up and what can we do to get out of it, because at this stage of your life, anywhere from 40 to 65 or 60, if you are stagnant, that means you are in some big trouble. So, I want to talk about this today. Want you to please share the show, invite others. Let's start a discussion as soon as possible. Um, I like to make a few disclaimers here really quick before we move forward, because it's important for us to make these disclaimers so that we're not held liable or accountable for the choices and the decisions people make individually. The first disclaimer we would like to make is this show is meant for educational purposes. This is not a counseling session. So everything said here is for educational and information purposes or purpose. And that disclaimer I want to make here, this is apolitical. It means we don't talk politics here. You want to discuss politics, you want to talk anything political, that is your right, that is your choice. Just please do not do it on here, because your comments would be deleted. Once you start to talk politics, your comments will be deleted, just so you know. Um, Other things that we like to focus on here also is whatever contribution you make here, it's at your own detriment or risk. We cannot guarantee at any time confidentiality here. So that means if you give us any information here, this is an open platform. You will hold yourself responsible. You'll be held liable for the information that you pull out here, because we have no control over it. What else? What else as part of the disclaimer? You're more than welcome. We don't do drama on here. If you got problem with someone or you disagree with someone, we do it respectfully. We do not go around or go on to insult people in here, fight. No, we disagree. Fine. You can disagree with me. You can disagree with someone else. You can disagree with what I'm saying. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. We encourage alternatives. We encourage you to provide alternatives to your disagreements. But please, no disrespect, no being rude. Nope, we do not welcome that. So, all those things. That being said, we want you to help us share the show, invite others as we will get started. We own no copyright to the song that is about to play. Um, as we get this show started here this afternoon. Invite someone. Let's get into the conversation. We'll bring Teddy right on with find a friend like me. Thank you. And let's share the show, please. Thank you, and thank you. I think we'll play 2 songs just so you're aware because we have to share the show as well. We got to share the show as well in other groups, and sometimes it takes more than 5 minutes to do so. Please. So thank you. We will no copyright to the songs that we'll be playing here today.
Learn.
Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me.
Bombe oh, find a friend like me. Bombe jene oh, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me.
Hey, see bestie, your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie da la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to heavy. Find a friend like me. I hear them say they want me go. I say
Some of them say they want me go.
I say
Some friends yelling ah oh ah oh ah oh. Some friends yelling ah oh ah oh ah oh. Some friends yelling ah oh ah oh oh. Friends yelling ah oh ah oh. Hey, see bestie, your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie da la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to heavy. Find a friend like me. They won't step on my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah. They won't call it my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah.
Friendship, see friendship. Can't see Papa T friendship. And I want no back for friendship. And I want no wedding friendship. Wangolo, Wango for bestie, Wango for daddy, Wangolo.
I hear them say they want me go. I say I hear them say they want me go. I say
Some friends yelling ah oh ah oh ah oh oh. Some friends yelling ah oh ah oh ah oh. Some friends yelling ah oh ah oh ah oh. Friends yelling ah oh ah oh ah. Hey, see bestie, your bestie not friend but my bestie. Your bestie da la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to heavy. Find a friend like me.
DJ Young T.
You got funny legs, Johnny. You funny.
Beats.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know on the beat, I be a loca. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook, but that's so la la. You work it better. Loving and acting jealous, say you photo. My ever saw you in my way and got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing.
It's never gonna be another man trash, just another man treasure. Another man fool was another man poison. Got your code, according to your measurement. Got your code, according to your measurement. The player ain't chemistry, and they play you booty. Just because of impression. Impression, fake impression. Impression, yeah. You don't even know my story. Or you want to share my glory, oh yeah. Everywhere you my way, oh way, oh Zangale. Everywhere you my way, oh way, oh Zangale. Every touch you my way, oh way, oh.
Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Jeje, the hammer you driving nothing to keke. This a ballin'. The thing that we talking, they must be right here. Stop spoiling my me. I'm living my life, oh. See, I'm living my life, oh. If you pay you, hey, oh, hey, oh. If you owe you, hey, oh, hey, oh. If you hate you, hey, oh, hey, oh. If you pay you, hey, oh. You don't even know my story. Enjoyment,
Oh my god, you're cute.
Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing.
Well, thank you, folks, for sticking with us and being with us. We want to say thanks to all of you. It is time for us to get straight into the conversation here. Um, Let me pull this up quick. Last week, we started off, as you are already aware, many of you. Thanks for helping us to share the show. Some of you, we've gotten the notifications that you did help us. But last week, as you are aware, we started off with, as usual, asking what is mental health. Last week, we started to talk about it. We started to ask what is mental health because it's important for us to know the basics and the foundation for some of these things. We brought to your attention that quickly we'll review over it as we've done through all of the sessions we've had. We did inform you that I called to the World Health Organization. We'll go very slow on this one because we have to break it down as simple as possible. So let's see what the World Health Organization states. Mental health includes emotional, psychological, social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy decisions. Mental health is important at every stage of your life, from childhood, adolescent, through adulthood. So it's important for us to understand these different concepts of mental health and what it means. It makes a difference. I know many of us might ask, what does mental health mean? This is the definition. This is what it actually means. And You see, your ability to make certain decisions in life could tell where your mental status is, where you are mentally. Also, some decisions you would make, some actions you would take, also determines or it tells where your mental health is. And some of these actions could include, but not could be, and not limited to acting your age, whether in public or in private. To the extent, sometimes the way you dress. So I give you this typical example that I've always given most of the times. If your size is large and no one went to the store to get you a gift, but you went there by yourself and you know your size is large, and you decide to buy yourself small, something is wrong with you. Whether you admit to it or not, there is something absolutely wrong with you. It's not an issue of argument or so forth, but something is wrong with you. Especially if you would leave from maybe extra large or large to small, something is wrong. Something is wrong. So your mental health is as important as your medical health. Let me put it that way. Let me use the word medical at this point. Is as important as your wellness check you go for, wherein your primary care doctor or the doctor will check you, you know, from head to toe, will do an assessment or so forth. Your mental health is as important as that because it dictates a lot. It speaks a lot about you, where you are, and so forth. But let's move on just a little bit. We also told you, you know, what is the importance of mental health overall, especially when it comes to our concern. We told you that mental health is important for both your physical health. You know, it helps create that equilibrium, that balance between your physical health and all other components of your health. Mentally, when you're healthy, you're able to make decisions that will help you, that will impact other people, that will help them as well. You're able to make safe decisions for your children. This is why in the US and other places, when you are not deemed mentally fit, they take away your children from you. And some people think that it's a bad thing. Some people revolt against it. Some people have issues with it. But if you're not mentally fit, stable, where are we headed? You can't keep your own children. You can't make decisions for yourself. Some people, I'll put it this way, some people, the people that you work with, some of them are old or young, but you see that the reason you are there because they can do everything else for themselves or by themselves. But the reason you are there is primarily because mentally they're not fit or capable to make certain decisions for themselves. So you make that decision. You're responsible to make that call, to make that decision for them. You're responsible to guide them, to help them, and so forth. So your mental health is very important, very, very important. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of the most important things that you have to take care of in your entire life to keep a balance in your life. You want to have a balance in your life. You want to have a good life. You want to be healthy. Ensure that you are in tight. Your mental health is in tight. Ensure that happens. Ensure that happens. Because it makes a huge difference. Again, it makes a huge difference when you are in the right state of mind. It makes a huge difference. So you want to ensure that your mental health is as important as also it can impact your medical condition. I'll give you an example here. Um, example, it's depression. Depression can increase the risk of, many physical problems, such as conditions like diabetes, Depression would also increase heart disease. Depression would also increase stroke. You know, and other chronic illnesses in your life. Depression would increase them. So being healthy mentally, it makes a difference. It helps a lot. And it could make the just make the difference on how you feel daily. You know what you do, the way you operate, the way you carry yourselves, the things that you do, the people that you engage with, even on your job. That listen, this is why certain jobs, if you study things and watch for truth, there are certain job wherein they have to do a mental evaluation. You go through some kind of mental evaluation, some kind of mental testing, or so forth, to ensure that you are mentally fit and capable to do that job or to do those jobs, because or to carry out your obligation. And also, some professions would automatically disqualify you when it's determined that you are not mentally capable to carry out those functions. So yes, so your mental health is very, very important. We also try to examine the cause or some of the cause of you know um, mental health. Last time we told you that yes, there is now one specific cause that you can nail down. There could be different causes at the time, um, different influences, different issues going on at once. But for the most part, we try to list some of them. Some of them could also be concurrent. In other words, they're together, they're acting together, or they could be, they use the word simultaneous. One thing is happening at the same time. So some of them that we talked about last time was the use of alcohol or drugs. You know, and every time we say this, we like to remind you that this is not personal, but these are facts. These are facts. They have the ability to impact your mental health. Um, the consumption of alcohol, especially nowadays where people, are addicted to alcohol to some extent. They are addicted in that much that some of them are in denial, but that's just the truth. The drugs that you take, they have an impact on your brain. They have the ability to impact your brain, the drugs that you take. Um, there are also biological factors or mechanical imbalances in the brain. So these different mechanical imbalances are in the brain that are happening to us. They have the ability to impact us. And some of them, sometimes people are born like that. For the most part, these mechanical imbalances, these chemical imbalances, I mean, or biological factors, most of them, they're defects, they're born like that, or so forth. People are born like that. But also, having the feelings or the thought of being lonely or isolated. We're talking now about depression, isolation, loneliness. They can lead to mental health issues. Um, or other people having some, you know, experiences that could be ongoing or chronic or medical problems such as cancer, diabetes, and so forth. So some diagnoses could also be the cause. Some medical problems that people are having could also impact their ability to, you know, um, function well mentally. You know, also we talked about the early adverse life experiences such as trauma or history of abuse, for example, child abuse, sexual assault, or maybe witnessing some kind of violence. All of these things contribute, or they could impact uh, people's mental health or the state of mind at the time. So let's move far forward. Talk to you about Eric Erickson. We told you who he was and his contribution to what we're talking today and the work that's going on. Um, we even talked about the 8 stages of psychosocial or human life development that we're talking about. You know, we it's credited to him. It's credited to Eric Erickson. These few days, I was conducting another research, for the next few topics coming up here soon, and I ran into one of Eric Erickson's counterpart just to bring that into the conversation. You know, his name is Sigmund Freud, and at some point we get to talk about him as well, and you will see his contribution. So Eric Erickson's contribution is psychosocial, while his is psychosexual. So we'll talk about these different things, and these guys contribute a lot to psychology, um, to what we have today in our world, to counseling, to therapy, um, you know, in the area of social work and other places. They learn about some of these guys. All of these things, whether it's social work, it's counseling, therapy, um, 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 psychologist, you know, all of these guys, we fall under one umbrella. So, but the work that these guys have done, they've helped a lot. So fast forward, let's see, we are now talking about this 8 stages of human growth and development, or psychosocial development, however you want to term it as. But we are at the seventh stage, um, generativity versus stagnation. Last week we talked about generativity. Um, we've talked about all of these different stages, from trust versus mistrust, from the first day going on forward. Last week we talked about generativity. We talked about some of the things that go on. We talked about what it meant. As you can see here, we last week we described what generativity means, and how people are impacted. And we also talked about what to expect in this stage, in both generativity and stagnation. We talked about what to expect in it. You know, we talk about, to recap really quick before we move on to stagnation. In this stage, we talk about it takes place in the middle adulthood. We said it is between the ages 40 and 65. Now, it's important for you to look at the age, for you to think about the age. By now, you've passed all of these different ages. You are 40 to 65. In this age, a lot of things happening. Um, a lot of things can be happening. A lot of things can be going on at once, and it's just a lot. At times, it is just a lot. So then there is a need in this stage to understand what's going on as well, to understand what we miss as well. Because mind you, in this stage, you have to understand that in this stage of our lives, you have to understand that we're coming with baggage. We are coming with baggage or baggages. We are coming with problems. We're coming with issues from previous stages. We are. So for example, someone could be coming with hurt from maybe when they were 20, they were in their early 20s or 30 or whatever it is, whether from divorce, whether single parenthood, whether, so all of these factors must be taken into consideration. Now, it's important for you to understand these things. It is important for you to understand how these things work and how they go around, because they would make the difference. They would help you navigate through life and understand where mistakes were made, what needs to be done, and how some of these mistakes can be addressed. Now, the issue of generativity actually is nurturing, or using the positive side, let me put it that way, or of you, to impact lives. We talked about it last time. It's look at the word generativity in itself. It's more like you are impacting generation, or you are generating something, you are putting things together. At this stage now, the expectation is, you would be putting things together. In other words, maybe your life, the expectation is your life would be together. Now, mind you, if your life is not together to some extent at age 40 or above, what time do you have? What strength might you have to be able to make up for, this time? So the issue of stagnation starts to, I don't want to use the word creeping, but the issue of stagnation starts to come in. And stagnation people might think it started off just at the age 40 and going upwards. No, not necessarily. And that's what we're about to explore because it's important for us to understand some of these different concepts. So last time when we talked about generativity, we talked about generativity being, leaving your mark on a word, the importance, leaving your mark on a word. That was very important. We talk about the benefits of generativity. We talk about what are some of the things that contribute to generativity. We talk about it. Today we want to talk about stagnation. On your screen, on the screen in front of you, you will see someone well dressed going in cycles. More like this person is in cycle. This guy is well dressed, but he's going in cycle. So the question becomes, what is stagnation? Because it's important for us to understand that big word, what it means. It's important for us to know what that word means. So then the question is, what is stagnation? So stagnation refers to failure to find a way to contribute. Let me put it that way. Stagnation means failure to find a way to contribute. But the bigger question behind that, now that we know what stagnation is, but let's go. Stagnant individual may feel disconnected or uninvolved with their community or society. So then we have to go back. We have to go back. Um, we have to go back a little bit to understand as to how stagnation started or what started it. Because when you reach age 40, getting to be 40 years old is not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Someone will say that in itself is a blessing. 40, being 40 years old is a long time. It is a long time. If you would really look at life, it's a long time. So mind you, from being a woman for 9 years, for 9 months, and being born from age 0 to 40 is a long time. And you would have lots of different experiences and lots of different things would have happened in your life. So then the question becomes, why is it that when you get to this stage of life, you're stuck? Why are you stuck? What makes you stuck? Why can't you contribute? Why do you feel disconnected? Whether it's from your community, whether it's from the society you live in, whether it's with people you associate with, to some extent, from your family, friends. Why do you feel stagnant? Why do you feel disconnected? Why do you feel as though some things have not been achieved? Now, it goes back to the fact that we have to take a step backwards to other stages we've had in our lives. We have to go back to other stages we've had in our lives. So I give you an example. In stage 6, which is entitled Intimacy versus Isolation, we told you what intimacy means and how intimacy is applicable to our lives. So let's say in a stage of intimacy, let's say you had a divorce, you had problems. Maybe you got married at a very young age and you had a divorce. Now, for some, stagnation in that stage of their life when they get to 40 would be the fact that maybe they wanted to explore because they got married at a very young age and now they're stuck. They feel like they got to understand life because maybe they did not get to be single to explore life. For others, it could be the fact that they have so much trouble in their lives, they have so much problems in their life, and things didn't work out for them. So much bad things going on for them. So things didn't work out for them. So now they've reached this stage now wherein they have opportunity to move forward, but they're stuck. They can't move forward. They cannot. They're unable to move forward because they have no means. They don't know the way out. They don't know the way out. For some people, they've been mothers all their years. They haven't worked. Now that divorce kicks in. Guess what happens? You are stuck now. What can you do? What should you do? How do you do it? For some people at this stage of their life, because of the trauma they face and all the experiences they face in their life, they've been isolated all through their times. They get to this stage, they can't move any forward. They start to have problems. They're not sociable. Some people say they're not social. They're not able to interact with other people. Their interpersonal skills are very low. Their ability to communicate with others, to relate with others. Some people have had so much. They had a rough life. Some people, their children are taken away from them. Some people are broken. They came from broken homes, broken systems, broken places, and so they're stuck at this age. They're stuck at this age. They know nothing. They don't understand certain things. So they revert. They either start now because they're stuck. They start to look for, can you imagine? Now, this is where most of the times I'll equate this or relate this to Liberia or some Liberians. This is where some Liberians would become followers, would become sycophants. This is where also some people would turn to the church, which is not necessarily a bad thing. They turn to religion. And so they become religious, quote unquote, giving their lives to God. And now God is the director of their lives. So everything the pastor says, whether it's wrong, whether it's false, whether it's truth, sometimes they don't even know the truth from lie. So they stick with that and they run with that. They run with that. So they start to look for a role model in their lives. They're stuck. They can't go. Some people might appear as though they have achievements, but because of the struggles, because of the things that they've been through in their lives, they're stuck. It becomes a problem for them to navigate. But let's read it down a little bit more. Stagnation also means you're self-centered, narcissism. So failing to get involved with other people. So people who like for you to praise them. Those of you who are sycophants, who praise people, and these people turn out they can do no wrong. You don't see no fault in them. And sometimes we see them in our Liberian setting, especially among politicians and other places. They can do no wrong. When they're held to account, they look at it a different way. These people is a sign that that it's just about them. It's about themselves. They lack themselves a lot. They don't care about other people. They don't care about getting other people involved in the decisions or in other things that are done. They don't. For them, it's just about them, and it has to be them. Also, stagnation means not taking interest in productivity. This is a very big one that we see most of our time in our community. Not taking interest in productivity, no effort to improve yourself. So what does that mean? Not taking interest in productivity. Some people don't want to do anything productive. They don't care. They don't want to do anything productive. They do not care. All they want to do 24/7 is to be in drama. From one drama to another. From one drama to another. From one drama to another. From one noise to another. From one problem to another. From one, they just go all around the place in cycles looking for problems. Let's take, for example, they're looking for all of the toxic Facebook talk show where people go and curse other people, discuss other people's family, things that they don't know about. They don't want to be anything productive. Yet, don't get me wrong, some of these people who do these things, who hop around for these unproductive, negative things, they appear to be intelligent people, though. They appear to be intelligent people. They appear to be well-rounded people. They appear to be mature people. But they pass around share all the dramatic show, get involved with all the drama, hype other people up to be dramatic, to cause other people disrespect other people. Some people, and in our labyrinth setting, we've gone to the extent that we're taking it to the next level. People pay people to cause people. Can you imagine that? When I hear some of these things, I'm like, what's wrong with these people? But to a bigger extent, they pull into these things wherever you can rest assured that if we were here insulting, talking about someone's family, someone's private life, or their marriage or their relationship, oh, this place would be choked up. It would be packed. It would be packed. So these are some of the things that we're faced with. These are some of the things that create stagnation. People are doing nothing to change that lifestyle. And if you look at it for true, most of these people that do this, guess what happened? These are people that they themselves are broken people, have problems. They're looking for somebody else to use. And so once they find out that avenue is created, guess what they do? They exploit those avenues so that their problems can be forgotten about temporarily. They don't want to address the issues they're faced with. I have a couple of friends who have tried, to send me some of these grown women on Facebook misbehaving, cussing and jumping around and acting rude, or gossiping about other people, putting their mouth in other people's business that don't concern them, destroying people's homes, or, just doing all kind of unproductive, negative things in the community. Someone tried to send it to me, and I told the person, I said, this is not healthy for my mental health. I said, don't do that. I said, no disrespect. Don't share these kind of things with me. They're not important. They're not important to me. And they're not important as well. Because all these guys are doing, what is the message here? What are they doing? What is the purpose? What is the goal? What is the goal? Why should I sit around and hear about somebody, wife coming to spill the bean, somebody, boyfriend coming to spill the bean, and you get hot tea on the other person, you get hot this other one. What sense does that make? How does that help me? How does that benefit me as an individual? How does that move my life from point A to point B? What does that do for me? Especially if I'm not concerned with that person. I'm not married to that person. I'm not in a relationship with that person. That's not my business. How does that benefit me? So you see, how does that change my life or change my own issues that I have? How does that change it? What do I benefit? To waste my time and write on there and text and hype them up and share this other one. What does it do? And they're spending the bean and they're spending the G's, and this other one and that other one, or they're cussing the other person and they're really dealing with the other person today. Like I said, don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't ever send me these funny people and the funny messages or whatever it is. I'm not in that cycle. No disrespect. If that's what you want to settle for, and that's what you think you're worth, and that's what you think your time is worth, that is okay. That's your choice. I respect that. But I will not settle for that. I think it makes no sense. It's counterproductive. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. It is not. Okay, after you've heard that now, so what? What's next? What do we do next? So you see how you start now, your brain start to be wired now. You're looking for the next drama people. You're looking for the next group of drama people that's creating something somewhere so you can get there. So you see how you are stuck. You are stuck. All you settle for is these things that, wouldn't make any sense. But as part of it also, some of these people, stagnation also, they're placing one's concern above everybody else. They're narcissists. When you try to talk about people who are stuck, you try to talk to them about things that you face. Instead of them acknowledging and respecting what you're saying, to just listen to you, they're bringing their own problem. Well, we're not talking about you today. I've listened to you all this while, even though maybe I might not have been able to provide a solution to your problems, but at least I've lent you some ears. Now I mean some kind of problem. Can you listen for once and stop telling me I just told you that I broke up with my boyfriend. You got divorced 2 years ago. What does that have to do with what I'm telling you now? Why are you interfering? Why are you stopping? Why are you jumping into this? So you see, narcissists will operate that way. They would act that way. They will go that way. These are things that they will do. They do not feel fulfilled. Narcissists never feel fulfilled. These people who are stagnant, they never feel fulfilled. They go in cycles in different things. They will jump from here. They're inconsistent. They jump from one friend to another friend, one group to another group. They can't maintain any kind of relationship. They're not, they're not stable in things that they do. They're very inconsistent. They bounce around. They do not feel fulfilled. Often, they feel very unhappy. Let me tell you something. It takes a lot of unhappiness for you to sit and just talk about things that don't concern you or that don't affect you directly. Just think about it. What does somebody relationship business that all the way in Germany that I've never seen before, I don't know, I have no connection or whatever. What does that have to do with me? But you see, because if I am an unhappy person, once I see things that will gravitate to unhappiness, then I want to get involved with those things. Then I want to push those things. Then I want to get other people who are not happy to be pumped up, to be happy. We think that that's our safe moments. We think those are places that we can sit. Just think about it. Just think about it. At your age 40 and above, and you are discussing people, and you don't know from nowhere, they don't impact your life. It's not like a national emergency or a national concern that has to do with someone dying or whatever it is. Nothing, but you get a G's, so you got to talk about it. And somebody just hit me up with a G's in my inbox. I'm going to have a show. You get hot tea. You get hot topic. I'm 40 years old. 40 and up. And I've challenged some of you before. I've encouraged some of you to play some of these things, maybe some of the things that you do, play them, let your children hear them. Play them. Play them to your children that are in high school, or some of them are in elementary, or some of them that are maybe between the ages 6 to 12, or some of them they are above. Some of you have grown children. Some of your children are even in college. Play these things that you be doing. The way you be acting on Facebook, the way you be cussing other people, the way you be doing things and melting to other people's business. Play it for them, I beg you. Play it for your children. When you have the time, this weekend or next weekend, when your children are out of school, just play to them and say, this is what mommy is doing. What do you think? This is what daddy is doing. What is your view? What do you think? Because if you don't play for them, somebody will play for them. Or you can rest assured, somebody will use it to remind your children that this is how much of a loser their parents are. They're wasting their time. Somebody will do that. Watch and see. Somebody will remind your children. And it will be very depressing and problematic. It shows how unhappy you are when you just come here and spew a bunch of negativity at your age, 40 and above. Very sad. And I see that in both males and females, especially the women. Very sad and unfortunate. Very, very sad and unfortunate. You want to emulate all of these people. Let me tell you something. Let me say this before I get to the next part. Let me say this. For those of you who see these superstars from Hollywood and other things, listen. If people can get all of that amount of money in a bank account, get a big house and a big car, and they're still in public misbehaving, you should know that something is not wrong. These are very unhappy people. So you thinking that you're a superstar, or you thinking that you want to be a celebrity in your head, so you think you got to come and misbehave, and you're poor, or you got a bigger problem than them, because those are the people you follow. Those are the people you follow. Those are the people you see as your role model because you are stuck. You are looking for someone to be your role model, something that you can take on to feel relevant at age 40. You're looking at something that you can take on to be relevant. A few years back, I think there was a Liberian lady above 40 that just used to be on Facebook just basically half naked and misbehaving. It was it's just unfortunate. Somebody said, they're seeking attention. No, that's a sign that something is not right. Something is not right because that age does not match up with that behavior. It doesn't. That's a sign that something is not right. I don't think it's attention seeking. I think it surpasses attention seeking. It's more than that because when you come on at age almost 50 and half naked in public on social media and misbehaving and acting and talking all kind of funny things, how do you think your daughter or your son will feel? How do you think your pal, your mom will feel, or your family members? What do they say to you? Say, oh, then you gotta accept me for how I am. You gotta accept me for who I am. Well, again, those are things that show that we're stagnant. But let's read the last part. Rejectivity is also the term used to serve for stagnation. So you see, people who are stagnant think and feel at some point that they're rejected. They feel rejected. They do feel rejected. So rejectivity is a sign, is a term used for severe stagnation. Stagnation feel uninvolved and unproductive towards the world around them. So when people are stagnant, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening in their minds, in their head. And so those of you who have things to do, you know, don't allow these people to recruit you. Don't allow them to recruit you at any point in time to get yourself stuck into these things that they're doing that, they're not healthy. They're not beneficiary. They lead to nowhere, to get you stuck, to get you in that mindset where you would be stuck. So let's look at some of the consequences of stagnation. Let's look at them really quick. Let's look at the consequences of stagnation. Let's look at them. So one of the consequences of stagnation is leads to poor health. Those who are left with the sense of stagnation may face worse health as they age. They may look at their lives with regret, a sense of boredom, and all over dissatisfaction. So you see, people who are stagnant, they do have a poor healthy life. They don't tell you when they turn off that Facebook or they turn off that whatever life they're on, but those people do live and feel the sense of regret in their lives. They regret it. Who told you? They just front up when they come. They just act the way they act in public. But once they turn out, they regret most of the things that they do. Overall, they're not satisfied with their own lives or themselves. They're not. So those temporary 2-3 hours that you see them misbehaving for them is a way to comfort themselves. They feel like they're celebrities. You want to feel belonged. You want to feel loved. My audience love me. Most of these people that are your audience, they've never seen you. So in essence, you are in fantasy. You are living in a word in your head. They've never seen you. You've never interacted with most of them. They themselves have problems. They're using you as well. But let's move on. Stagnation may be the result of poor quality social connection. This can be a problem. As people get older, sense of social relations play an important part in healthy aging. Yes. So when you're stagnant and you not do all of these funny little things, you not disrespect people, you not cuss people, you not talk about people's life, you not destroy people, and you think you're a celebrity in your head, to be honest with you, the reverse part of that, people don't like you. They don't respect you. They don't. They don't. In reality, they don't. The only people that will tolerate you and accommodate you are those people who are broken, more or like you, that think they can use you to temporarily cover up the struggles that they're going through. Those are the people that we. But in reality, most people don't even like you because what do you contribute to society? So when you go somewhere, guess what? You need to be hiding yourself. You need to get bodyguards. If you so much of the celebrity and you so much of this good work that you're doing, why do you get bodyguards when you go? Why? Why must you hire people? Why must you be hiding? Why must you feel that when you go somewhere, they will not allow you in there, or people will not want you to be part of that group, or they will not want you to be in that place? Why? Why do you restrict yourself that you can't go to certain places? Why? And you're a celebrity, and everybody loves you, anything while you're doing a good thing. Right, it's a good thing. So why are you, living like you're in some kind of bubble, like you're a prisoner? Why? So you see how stagnant people work and everything. But let's move forward. The decreased life certification. People do not achieve a sense of generativity are less likely to feel satisfied with their lives. Most of the people who are stagnant, they don't contribute anything to society, nothing positive. They don't do anything that will impact the life of people. Rather, they hurt people, destroy people's homes, destroy people's lives. Guess what? They don't feel accomplished. They know that. So when you are stagnant also, at this point in your life, some people might experience what is often referred to as midlife crisis. Yes, when you are stagnant, you experience midlife crisis. You have so much going on in your life. So you have these crises in your life. You have these troubles that you're going through in your lives. You too. Some people might not want to say, but those things that they're fact for their truth. So a bunch of these midlife crisis people in public, they've infested the public space that's supposed to be socially interactive, where people have exchanges, ideas, to help one another. No, these people infiltrate the place and, they just make it worse. They just make it problematic, dramatic. Lots of unnecessary noise, lots of unnecessary drama. They disrespect everybody. They don't even know you, they talk about you. That is the extent. They don't know you. Somebody send them something in their inbox, it becomes their topic for the rest of. They don't know you. They've never reached out to you. They don't, I'm like, sometimes I'd be like, what's wrong with these people? They don't even know what they're talking about sometimes. They don't know what they're talking about. And the people who are feeding them with this information, the sad part about all of these things, the people who are feeding on some of this information, these same people are only looking for a way to either get at somebody, cover up their own sadness they're facing in their life, or the stagnation, or whatever is going on in their life, they want to cover it up. That's it. So they're looking for some kind of temporary entertainment. That is it. So they send you the information because you might be the person who thinks that, when you do this, I get viewers. I get few viewers. And, I get a couple of people that like me. I get viewers. People know me all around the world. The question is, what do they know you for? No one respects you. No one's ever going to call you on anything serious to be part of. No one's ever going to put you in a position of power or leadership where people can trust you because of the things that you do in public, the way you carry yourself. You think people like you at age 40 or above, where you're supposed to be more or like, productive in a community and in a healthy way, but you are just there. So the last part of this also, the consequences of this also, they may reflect back on their accomplishments, consider the future trajectory, and regret missed opportunity such as going to school, pursuing career, and achieving children. And sometimes some of these things are choices that people make, though. These things are choices that people make. They make all of these different choices. They do all of these different things. Now they get to the point now where they're stuck. And they start to regret some of these things. All of those times you were on here making noise and doing things that were not beneficiary, they become stuck. They don't know where to go now. They don't know what to do. So Before we close this session, we want to talk about how to decrease stagnation. What are some things people can do to decrease stagnation, to bring it down? Because I'll tell you what, people are stuck. People are really, really stuck. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and make it up or joke about it. People are stuck. They don't know what to do. And to be honest, some of these people only act the way they're acting too because they themselves don't know any better. They don't know any better. They don't know where to go next. They don't know how to move next. They don't know the next step to take. Some of them are shy to even seek help. They're shy to look into other avenues for guidance and so forth. Some of them are not even used to getting guidance because all their lives they've been taking care of themselves. So you see, there are different components, there are different factors that could lead to people being stagnant. And these people are they're stagnant, and so they will do the next thing to get attention. So many people have been stagnant for so many years. They really want, you know, people to know them. They want to socialize. They want to do things. But yet it's hard. So they look for all of these negative ways to act, to get a spotlight or, so that people can get to know them or whatever now. So one of the ways to decrease stagnation, there are actually 5 ways that we came up with or we research and develop. One of the first ways is you need to explore. You need to explore new hobbies, find new passion. It is a great way to feel more creative and inspired. So you definitely need to explore. You definitely need to find new ways and new hobbies. You need to look into new activities, things that you can do. So maybe instead of wasting your time and putting your mouth in other people's business, maybe you need to be looking for a job. Maybe you need to be helping your children with their homework. Maybe you need to be seeking counsel. You need to be getting, you need to be getting help yourself. You do. You do. So there are a lot of different things you need to be doing. Maybe you need to be exercising. It could help. Maybe you need to join a church. That could help. Maybe you need to look for something that would help you be more productive in society. Maybe, just maybe, those are things you need to do. Maybe you need to join a support group. Maybe you need to do some community work. Be part of your community and do something productive. Maybe, just maybe. Just maybe. Maybe you need to start going to the gym. Maybe you need to spend more time with your children, showing them some love, helping them do their homework, so that you're not stagnant, get into some healthy habits. Maybe you need to the time you used to waste on all these dramatic shows or whatever, maybe you need to look for something more positive, some kind of positive show or something positive that will help you. Maybe you need to read a book. Maybe you need to confront your fears. Just maybe you cost your mind, your partner, kick you out of the house. You've been on your own all throughout. You've been disrespectful. Well, just maybe at this time, go back and gather some people and go tell your parents you're sorry for what you did. Not necessarily that you'll move back in the house because you're already 40 years old or you're whatever age and you have your own children or your own family. Maybe you actually need to get a life. Maybe. To be honest, maybe that's what you need to do. But you need to explore new hobbies. Maybe you need to all that Real Housewife of Atlanta and this other one, that other one, and Real Housewife of Jersey and that one, those foolish toxic shows you be watching. Maybe you need to call the cable company and disconnect those shows. Maybe that's what you need to do. But you need to do something. You do. Maybe you need to start supporting the wrong people. Maybe you just need to do that. Maybe you need to do that. Maybe you've been planning to want to go to school and you're 40 years old. There is nothing wrong with taking one class at a time. There's nothing wrong with it. Maybe. Maybe you've driven all the men in your life because of your level of disrespect and rudeness. Maybe it's time for you to humble yourself. Just maybe. Maybe it's time for you to stop passing around at your age 40 and start saying men are nothing, but you're still looking for men. Maybe you need to come to terms with reality. Maybe that's just what you need to do. Just maybe you will need to do these things, these different things. I'm just saying, just maybe. Maybe you need to set a routine for yourselves. Maybe it's about time that you divert all your energy to your children, the things that you didn't do or the things that you didn't get, the way you weren't helped or loved. Maybe you can divert those things to your children. Maybe it's time for you to forget about that hurt, that hate that you have in your heart towards your parents, towards your friend, towards your children's father, your children's mother, your ex-husband, your ex-boyfriend, or your ex-friend, or whatever it is. Maybe you just need to find that place in your heart to start being better to your own children because the father left you. Maybe you just need to pay attention to your children. Or because the father left you, so that's the end of the world. You're pissed at the children. You don't give them the attention they need. You don't even have them their homework. When they even bring something to you, you complain and you beat them. You put them in timeout, and you are just so disconnected from your own children. Or to the men, maybe it's about time that you go back and take care of your children. You've been out of your children's life for this long, and maybe their own child support. Maybe it's about time that, regardless of the child support, that you look beyond that child support and be in your child's life. To some of the men, or to most of the men, maybe that's just exactly what you need to do. To some of the men, maybe it's about time that you grow up and take some responsibilities. Be responsible. Stop the foolery. Stop fooling around. Maybe those are the things you need to do. And let me just be honest, until we can come to these terms of reality and try to recognize some of these things and seek help to work on them, you ain't going nowhere. You will be in that same cycle. To the women, maybe it's time that you start looking at the choice of men that you are making. Maybe you've been having a bunch of losers all through your life, and you're saying men are nothing. Listen, that's not true. Men are something. Well, maybe your choices of men, or the choice that you've been making over the years, maybe they've been the wrong choice. The things that you prioritize. Look at the kind of nonsense somebody can prioritize matching sneaker, matching shirt. Seriously? How far does that go? After you wear the sneakers and the shirt and you take them off, they don't own you're fighting. Or you're beating each other. Or the cops are there. But you're finally putting the matching sneaker and the matching shirt on Facebook. What sense does that make? What are you looking for? And you're 40, you are doing the same old thing. You are doing the same old thing. You're looking for somebody who to match sneakers. At 40, for you to wear the same matching shirt. For you, that's an accomplishment. You see how you are stagnant in your head. So it affects your entire behavior. It affects even your choices, the choices that you make in relationships. Just maybe you need to step up too. Just maybe you need to apply for a job that is more than $5 an hour. Nothing wrong with that. Take that leap of faith. Stop looking down yourself. Just maybe you need to do that. Just maybe. Those are the things that you need to do. Explore. I'm not saying explore this thing the way you watch on TV. You want to do all kind of funny things. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Just maybe you need to slow down that you're not a celebrity. You don't need to be going on all these trips. Save your money, pay your rent on time, pay your bills on time, live comfortably. Stop putting pressure on yourself. Just maybe you need to carry that car back. The car not killing you. You can't have time for yourself. You can't even sleep in your own bed. You gotta be doing 3-4 jobs. Just maybe carry that car back and stop being in competition. Just maybe we need to do that as humans. Carry that car back. Who are you trying to impress? Carry it back. Stop living. Just maybe you need to move from that house or that apartment. It's too expensive for you. There is nothing wrong with that. You are who you are. The place you live does not define you. It doesn't. Yes, it's okay to live comfortably. It's okay to live a certain place. When you can afford it, there is nothing wrong with it. But why put so much pressure and stress on yourself? When you're living in that place that you can't even sleep there. You move from one job to another. You can't even see your own children. You can't spend time with your own children. Just maybe you need to start thinking about some of these things. It could decrease. Just maybe that cycle of friend, you need to change it, to be honest. You're grown now. You're not in elementary anymore. You're not in high school anymore. Maybe you need to get out of that group. It's too toxic for you. You've been getting into drama because you've been defending members of that group. Some of the noise that you're getting into, it's not even your own noise. And your friend in noise. And your friend in drama. There are other people who know things that they bring. You go to parties saying that you're not cussing nobody. Your friend go and cuss somebody on the other table. Then guess what happened? That table can't fight. They take bottle to bust on your head. Police come, they arrest you. They fingerprint you. Just maybe you need to consider some of these things. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, just maybe you need to do that. So yes, that was exploring. That's the first thing we need to do. Another thing we need to do also is we need to learn. We need to learn new things. You need to learn something new. Let me say this to you. You need to learn something new. And you are not too old to learn something new. You don't have to go sit in college or in class. You need to learn something new. You do. You need to learn something new. But in order to learn something new, you need to be open to it. Just maybe you need to stop the argument and listen. Because you can't learn in noise. You can learn by listening. You need to find time to slow down and learn. Some of you, how many of think about this. The people you are involved with, whether in a romantic relationship or casual relationship, or however you want. How many of the times you learn from that person learns from you? How many times? Maybe you need to think about some of those things. Yes, you need to learn something new. And whatever you learn, you need to acquire some of these new skills. You need to apply them as well. When you acquire them, you apply them. Acquiring and then applying skills can help you feel more productive. Yes. Maybe some of the free online thing that you need to take classes or whatever it is. They offer them. When you see them, you skip them because they're not. There are a lot of opportunities now. You don't even need to leave your bed. You can sit right in the comfort of your home instead of watching that dramatic show or that noisy show, whatever it is. You can tune in to that and you will learn something. But you need to learn something new. You do. Because there are a lot of things out there to learn. There are a lot of things out there to learn. When you have an understanding of things, you learn about it, it helps you better navigate through it. Another thing you need to also do is, in this process, you need to find new sources of inspiration. That means, in other words, things that will inspire you, things that will motivate you to do the right thing, to do something that is good, something that is productive. You need to find those new sources. You do. So that means wherever you are now, wherever your life is now, if you look at your life and you're still going in cycles, and you've been going there for that past 10 years or whatever it is, it's time for you to change some things. It's time for you to change some things. I'm being very honest. It's time for you to change some things. If you just find yourself doing the same thing and nothing productive, 5 years, you're just there, just doing the same thing with the same friends. You're just from one noise to another, from one party to another, from one drama to another, from one confusion to another. It's time for you to leave for now. It's time for you to leave that group or those group of people and look into something better to move your life forward so that you don't be stuck. When you feel stagnant, seek out things that help you feel inspired. You can use them, you can use these sources to build motivation to tackle new things. That's what you need to do. The last thing you need to do also is you need to look for new opportunities. It's okay for you to look for a new job. There's nothing wrong with it. Especially if that new job offers better opportunity, better pay. It's okay for you to look into new things. It's okay for you to get new friends, especially if the new friends will be productive and helpful as compared to the old friends. Nothing wrong with that. So let me read this part. Even if you have become settled in your role at work or at home, it is important to look for new ways to feel challenged, useful, and productive. It's very important. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. It is very, very important. It helps. I want to close up this session by saying this to you. To you who will watch later, to you who are watching now. I'm not sure what has kept you stuck. Sometimes fear, anxiety, and other factors can keep people stuck. I want to challenge you. Some of you will watch this today. I want to challenge you to explore your fear, to learn about your fear, find ways to deal with your fear, and look for opportunities to overcome your fear. I want to challenge you to try these 4 things. Try them. I want to challenge you. Try them during the summer. Try them before the summer. Try them by the summer. And see the result in the winter. Especially those of you who are on the side, in the West. For those of you who are in other parts of the world, we're about to get into May. I want to challenge you. Take this challenge on. May, June, July. Use it to explore your fear. Don't be stagnant. Don't stay in negativity. I want to challenge you to delete all the drama people in your life on Facebook. I want to challenge you to do that. I want to challenge you to block all the drama shows in your life, those shows that are bringing anything good to your life, where people are discussing other people's marriage, the relationship, cursing people, cursing other people. I want to challenge you to block those shows so that don't appear there. Go to something more positive and see how you'll be thinking. See how your thought process will be. Just see how you were thinking, how you will feel. I also want to challenge you. All the people that can send you gossip and send you all these funny shows, send them alert that if you respect me, don't send me this show there again. Don't tag me in them again. Send them alert. Don't send me all these negative things. Don't send me nobody negative picture, negative video. Don't send it to me again. I want to challenge you to tell them to do that. Now, if you cannot do that, then don't blame anybody for keeping you stagnant. You are keeping yourself stagnant because you're not ready to explore new things. Who told you you haven't seen life? Who told you life is all about drama? Who told you life is all about noise? The day you get to experience peace, you will not even need group. You'll be in your own house. You'll be at peace. You don't even need to be chilling. You don't need to smoke hookah. You don't need to get drunk. You don't need to get anything. You will be healthy and happy. You will not need to add anything to your body. You will not. Look, you wake up in the morning, you are healthy that you can see your children. Look, you wake up in the morning that you can afford a 5,000 car to drive, as opposed to a 30, 45,000 car where the car note gotta be killing you. Oh, you feel so happy and relieved. You will feel so happy and relieved. You'll be happy that you don't have to be doing overtime. You can sleep in your own bed because you don't have to pay that car note anymore. You've taken it back and you took a car that you can afford instead of impressing people that you don't even like. Because you know what happened eventually? Your insurance will drop down because you're taking that car down. You're taking that car back. That car that you can't afford. Like giving you too much problem, like you gotta do 3, 4 jobs. Not only that, you will sleep good because you don't have to be worried. You don't have to be waking up every 30 minutes, the alarm. You will sleep good. You will not be angry as you are. You're not. You're not. I want to challenge you. For those of you who already know the number, I'll keep it on there for 5 minutes because I definitely have to leave it here for now. I'll keep the number on here for 5 minutes. Let me get the number on here. I'll keep the number on there for 5 minutes, and you can put your calls through. If you have any question or any concern, next week we'll talk about the last stage, and then after that, we will be going into something else. We are planning. Let me just announce ahead of time. Let me put this number out here. You can call that number if you have any question or you want to contribute. Let me take this down. You can call that number if you have any question or you want to contribute. In the next 2 weeks or so, we'll have a guest, a friend of mine. Very interesting. We've talked, and this guest will be on here. We'll talk about everything relatable to life, such as divorce. We'll talk about child support. We'll talk about single parenting. She's experienced all of these. She's willing to talk about it. She's willing to share. And we're going to explore those different stages so that it can be as realistic, as applicable, and as vivid. So in the next 2 weeks, we're working on it for this guest for her to come on. I'm not going to say her name. She's a friend. She told me, she said, I'm not shy to talk on the camera. I want to talk it. I want to help other women out there. I want to also have this conversation because I think it's healthy. I want to raise the alarm. It's okay. Cool. So she will be joining me. A very good friend. I've known her for years. We lost contact. We got back in contact these few days, and she will definitely be here. She would definitely be here. So yes, feel free. Place your call to that number on there now if you want to participate. If you have anything to say, you have any question, feel free. And we'll go from there. Feel free, and feel free. Feel free to call that number. Any question, any concern, any question, any concern, feel free. You have about 5 minutes and we'll call it a day because I got to go to. Feel free, place your question. Feel free and place your question so that we can go. So a week or two from now, we have that sister here, that friend, and we'll have that conversation. And we intend to have some other people come on. And there will be other people that will come on. You can rest assured on that one. It would be. Definitely. So yes, we definitely switch into that gear. And yes, Sierra, yes, we are going to talk about Sigmund Freud at some time because he's more psychosexual than being psychosocial. He's more psychosexual. We'll talk about it. But in order for us to get to Sigmund Freud, we'll bring some realistic experiences into the conversation. We intend to, once we do that, then we intend to pivot towards, we definitely want to talk about the defense mechanism for people to understand. And that is also on a Sigmund Freud field. Sigmund field also talks about the different defense mechanism. It comes from under him. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll pivot again. So we'll do practical theory like that to get this moving so that it's not just, and as time goes by, the goal is to invite two, right after this session, the last session, I would speak with two other mental health female practitioners for them to join me, and we'll close up on everything. Then we have this conversation. But thank you. Hey, Joel, how are you? Thank you for following us. Thank you for being on, Joel. Well, silent means consent to some extent from where I'm from. So we'll leave it here. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of drama. Stay healthy. See you next week for the last session or for the last part of this conversation. And the last part would be integrity versus despair. So we'll talk about integrity versus despair. That will be the last stage. That's the last stage of your life before you die. That is the last stage. Before you die, that is the last stage. Integrity versus despair. Thank you. Have a good weekend, and let's stay out of trouble.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, on the day, Pavia Loca. So Mora, you post a new car on Facebook. But that's so la la, you working better. Loving and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you, in my way, I got to confess. Confession. You gotta.
Well, I got my two friends here. I wanted to show you. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Well, we gotta go.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, on the day, Pavia Loca. So Mora, you post a new car on Facebook. But that's so la la, you working better. Loving and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you, in my way, I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment, die a blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, die a blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing.
It's never gonna be another man trash, just another man treasure. Another man fool was another man poison. Got your good, according to your measurement. Got your good, according to your measurement. The player ain't garish, and they play booty. just because of impression. Impression, fake impression. Impression, yeah. You don't even know my story. Or you want to share my glory.